The Geekazine Weekly Podcast is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network found at www.techpodcast.com. If it's tech, it's here. This is the Geekazine Weekly Podcast, episode number 177 for February 23rd, 2011. I'm your humble host, Jeffrey Powers. Once again, I use that usual scrubby to find all the cool stuff on the interweb. We are in beautiful Madison, Wisconsin, nowhere close to the protests, so we'll get a great show of tech right now. Here we go.
Welcome to Geekazine, a weekly audio magazine for the geek in all of us. Now, here is your host, Jeffrey Powers.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Geekazine Weekly Podcast. My name is Jeffrey Powers, and if you're watching the video, you're going, what the heck is going on here? Watch this. Oh, it didn't do it that right. Let's do that again. Shoot, there we go. Different camera. That's that one. Anyway, how you doing? Jeffrey Powers here. Welcome to the Geekazine Weekly Podcast. It just happened. All of a sudden, I came into Wirecast, and all of a sudden it was all like this. And I know the reason why. It inverted the film or something like that. So I got a couple of them that are like that still. But I need to fix all of them. I'm thinking of keeping one or two of them because it's kind of cool. Because then I can go, how you doing? Anyway, welcome to the Geekazine Weekly Podcast. If you're listening to the audio area, well, you didn't really catch much of that because I just, it's audio and video and audio and video. Anyway, if this is the first time you've come to the show, thank you very much. My antics will happen all hour long. That is correct. Yes, all hour long antics. Anyway. This is the first time you've come to the show. Thank you very much for coming to the show. We do the show every single week for your pleasure. For your pleasure, your pain, and everything else that comes to mind. But I'm really grateful that you did come to the show. Thank you very much. We've done 177 of these little puppies right here, and we're doing a little bit more. I just realized I forgot to call this up here really quick, so I'm doing this really quick. Hey, you've probably heard about it. It is political problems in the Midwest. Okay, that was enough. I don't have good video for that. Sorry. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we've had the eyes looked upon us in the Midwest as the political surface has happened. If you haven't heard, well, basically what happened was our Governor Scott Walker, is decided to do some interesting stuff, and basically they're saying that he's trying to abolish unions. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't side with him. Yeah, I did vote for him, but I don't side with him, and we're not making this a political thing, not one bit, because you probably heard about it on the news, left, right, up, down, everywhere else. But basically, he's trying to get the unions to say, hey, in this next budget, we need to kind of cut things back a little bit so we can repair the $137 million that were lost. Now, there's a really cool video out there that shows us another way where we can resolve this problem by each resident of Wisconsin, adult resident of Wisconsin, paying $32. As kind of cool. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but there's been a lot of back and forth, and everybody's been up at the Capitol protesting, teachers and nurses and stuff like that. And I'll tell you one thing. Right now, it's a mess up there. And we've got to do a lot to repair our state budget. Doing this to unions, I don't know. I was a state worker myself at one time. I did belong to a union at one time. So I know how important unions can be, and I know how important regular life can be. I wish the podcasters had a union. Heck, my life would be a lot easier. I'd have health benefits and everything. But this isn't about that. It's about if they're abolishing unions, and that's the big key right there. And I don't think the plan was intended to abolish unions, but that's the way it's looking, and it's not looking like a good bill. Not a good. I haven't read the whole 141 pages of it yet, but it's not a good bill. And of course, at this point in time, in the next 20, 30 minutes, they're going to be voting on it and seeing if it finally gets resolved and the state bill budget gets balanced for the next 2 years. I don't know. There's a lot of other things that have happened in the nation too, and which is sad enough for politics. And like I said, I'm trying not to get into a political thing here, but I wanted to let you know. Personally, this did not affect me too much. I have a lot of friends who are teachers and a lot of friends who are nurses, and I definitely back them. But take it from my aspect here, and that is I'm just a lonely person trying to build a business and hasn't really had health care in a while, hasn't really had a paycheck in a while. So and I'm not saying you should support me or not support me, whatever you need to do. But the bottom line is that we need to repair our budgets. We need to do things, and yeah, that's not the way to go with unions. But we need to do something. And what is that something? Somebody give us a good answer as to what that something is. Maybe it is. Everybody gives $32, and everything goes from there. The failed stimuluses, give them back. Maybe that'll help. Anyway, that's it. That's all I'm going to talk about that. I just wanted to let you know that that's going on in right now, about 10, 15 miles away from me right now. So anyway, some good news on the horizon. First of all, I haven't heard anything about South by Southwest. South by Southwest has not gotten back to me on whether I got a media pass or not. I highly doubt it. If I haven't heard back now, I'm going to send them an email and say, hey, 14. You said 14 days, and there's been more 14 days. What's going on with that? So, I am working on a new idea. It's a WordPress plugin, and my brain, it's simple enough for my brain to actually wrap around it to actually make the plugin. So I'm going to make the first version of the plugin, which was basically going to be for my site and my site only. Then I'll be able to put in a database, and I'll be able to stretch it out to other people. So I think in the next 2 to 3 months, you will see a WordPress plugin from Geekazine, and a very, very good one, especially for podcasters. Something that podcasters have done for a long, long time, but haven't had any ease of use program for that. So I'm hoping this will revolutionize for podcasters out there that try to monetize their podcasts. Excuse me. Last week of CES video, of course, we're doing the CES Rewind. In the last couple of days, you've seen some of the videos redone and republished. So just check out the special media feed, and you'll see all those videos coming through in the next couple days. Of course, then next week, we're going to get back into regular programming. I got some reviews. I got a couple pieces that I'm going to be reviewing for you. We're going to start doing the OTT, which is the over-top television show. And, of course, I need to update the Day in Tech History, which I haven't really been doing. The idea was to do the Day in Tech History for a year, record it for a year, and then take a year to push them out again and update them as need be. And then when it came time for a year, to do a schedule where I'm updating again, like every other month or something like that. So you get the latest and greatest tech history there. So anyway, that's it for news. Besides our little storm we had over the weekend, pretty much it. Nothing really big happened here. So I think that's it. Let's get into your sponsors, and then let's get into, my sponsors to you, and then get into the news. Of course, we are a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. I don't say that enough, and I think I need to say that a little bit more. And if I got the right screen here, you can go over to techpodcast.com. Of course, the special media feed is right there. You can see that right there. Of course, if you do go to Geekazine, you check up here on the top right-hand corner. We have all the RSSs, all the iTunes, all the Zunes, all the Stitchers. I might move this around a little bit because we got more shows now. and might consolidate that a little bit. And that's all on the top right-hand corner on how to get all the RSSs for Geekazine. Of course, the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Go over to techpodcast.com. We're a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. And of course, if you go over to Geekazine. Go over to Geekazine. Go to Geekazine. You'll see the GoDaddy ad. CES 25. This is going to save you a ton of money on your domain hosting, on your .coms, on your SSL certificates. You can get free privacy on 6 or more domains, .co domains, all this stuff, and Danica Patrick all in one. Maybe. I don't know if you can get Danica Patrick with 25% off, but you could try. So go over to GoDaddy, enter in the code CES25. CES25 will get you 25% off if you're a first-time user. Of course, we have a lot of great codes, including Pod150 will get you 10% off what you need, and many, many more. Go over to Geekazine, check that all out there. All right. Luxor.com. If it wasn't for Luxor.com, we would have been staying in the streets. I would have moved into a little USA Today island thing, a little paper thing. They would have had to kick me out, but I would have been all set with my CES stuff. But Luxor said, "Hey, come to the point, check it out, and stay there and talk about it." And I say, "Oh, okay, well, sure." So get to the point. Check out Luxor. Next time you go to Las Vegas, check it out. Rooms start as low as $40 a night, and if you mention the Tech Podcast Network, you might get some special deals out of that whole thing. So check that all out. Go over to Geekazine, click on the Luxor ads, so that will let people know that you came from us, and we really do appreciate it. Thank you very much, Luxor, for giving our CES experience to the fullest. Audible.com, you can get yourself a free audiobook. There's many, many, many different types of audiobooks you can get out there. I like to get the how-tos and the 12-step programs, stuff like that. But you can get fiction, you can get nonfiction, you can get a lot of different books. Maybe someday, maybe I'll be reading an audiobook in Audible.com. That would be kind of cool. But anyway, right now, 14-day free trial. Gold membership, you can get a free download audio. It's yours to keep, even if you decide not to continue. You can listen to it at any time. Put it onto your iPhone. They've got an iPhone app. audiblepodcast.com/CES. Once again, Audible Podcast, not audible.com, but audiblepodcast.com/CES will get you to this part where you can start your free trial today. Of course, Mozy has changed up their prices a little bit, but that 10% off by using the code GEEK still stands. Remember to back up your pictures, your documents, and your life online with Mozy.com. 50 gigabytes for $5.99 and 125 gigabytes for $9.99, which is a great deal. And if you use that code GEEK, that's going to get you an extra 10% off that already low price. So $5.49 a month with the code word GEEK. Get the year, and you're saving yourself money, and they're going to give you a whole bunch of stuff here. They've got some great options here, including the fact that you can also back up on-site as well as off-site. So you can buy yourself a terabyte USB hard drive, plug it in, back up off-site, and of course it'll also back up onto the USB drive. So when you have many different ways to restore if you have a problem or if you get a brand new computer. So that's over at Mozy.com. Remember the code GEEK for 10% off. All right, and of course, a lot of the T-shirts that I wear are from Snorg Tees. We've got some great T-shirts there. The latest one is called Food for Thought. Looks like a zombie eating his own brains. That's kind of interesting. Anyway, there's some other cool shirts there. Go over to snorgtees.com, of course. If you go to geekazine.com and you click on Moo I'm a Goat, that will get you to Snorg Tees. And then, of course, the video, what we do all this switching with, is a program called Wirecast. It's now available, Wirecast 4 for Mac or PC, and prices start at $449. However, you get a great way to switch back and forth. You can use multiple cameras. I use USB cameras. I've got the FireWire camera running, and I can do a lot more with this over at Wirecast. So go over to Telestream and check that out. And, of course, let us know if you get the Wirecast program. Excuse me. All right. Without any further ado, let's get into your news, because that's why you's here, is for the news. There we go. We're going to start over at PC World today. Apple's subscription plan was launched. Did we already talk about that? Why did that come up? That's kind of weird. That's not the article I was planning to talk about. Well, let's start again. Hello, how you doing? Hold on one second here. Where the heck did that one come from? That was last week. That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway. I think, let's just make sure. It's like all of last week's. That is Funky Cole Medina. I think what happened was I didn't refresh the page. So when I didn't refresh the page, it didn't load up the proper links. So now I've got to talk like this. All right, we're going to start over here. We're going to start over at... where are we starting at? We're starting at Read Write Web here. I love it when I make these mistakes. YouTube is in talks with the NBA to actually get the rest of the NBA season on YouTube, which would be a interesting coup. Sorry about this. So unprofessional. So unprofessional. Low rate karaoke, I say. Anyway, there we go. Hey, YouTube has talks with the National Basketball Association, other sports leagues on getting everything over to YouTube, live stream through YouTube. Of course, you can get a lot like the NHL, the Major League Baseball, or Beast Ball, if you wanted Major League Baseball, Major League Baseball, the UFC and stuff like that through your Roku or Boxy or anything like that. But now they want to get, YouTube really wants to get a piece of that pie. And pretty interesting to see, because so far, the 3-minute videos of getting hit in the jubblies is just not entertaining anymore through YouTube. And of course, there's a lot of great stuff on YouTube. Kelly Lewis started doing the live stream beta over on YouTube, which didn't turn out too great, but everything has to start somewhere, I always have to say. So they want to do a 8-year contract with the NBA. That would conclude the 2015 to 2016 season, if we're still around at that time, or if the calendar hasn't swallowed us up and John Cusack drives around in limousines and planes. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So, but pretty cool. It'll actually mean that you'd get a subscription to YouTube, and you would then watch all your games online through there. But why YouTube? Why wouldn't you want to do through Amazon or through Roku or Boxy, for that matter? The Boxy application is probably the most versatile, because you can put it on your computer and move around and watch it whenever you need to, and you have an internet connection. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But Read Write Web, you go to check that information out. Hey, we're back on roll here. Intel is rolling out what's called Light Peak technology. Now, we showed you Light Peak technology at CES 2010, and it basically is the next version of high-speed connection technology, something that Apple might even adopt. And it's all brought to you by Intel. So, if I can remember correctly, it was based on copper, and could carry about 10 gigabits data per second. Yeah, 10 gigabits of data per second simultaneously. It's even faster than USB 3.0. So it's actually taking a new standard out of things, which is a good idea, and actually makes our connections a lot faster and a lot better. Because if we can connect throughout the house at a fast speed, the kids can be watching a Disney film, and you could be watching a blockbuster in 3D and high definition on both of those, and the wife could be in the other room watching a romance. Now I don't know, just a whole bunch of different things, and you don't see any lags, you don't see any downtime or anything like that. So pretty cool stuff. It's just interesting that we covered light peak technology at CES 2010. It's now rolling out. This Thursday, they're going to have the new MacBook Pros with the light peak technology, and that's pretty cool. So we'll see how this adopts and if people really accept that, because that also means getting into new technology, having to replace your routers, having to replace your wires, and once again going from nothing to something again. So CNET.com for all that information. Speaking of which, Apple's expecting to hold an iPad 2 event on March 2nd. It's the rumor mill, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, they're revealing the new version of the iPad. I don't think that Steve Jobs will be there. He might be there in a video call or something like that. But I would guess that that he is not going to be doing the presenting. Of course, we're all really in an anticipation of the new iPad 2. We really want that front-facing camera. We really want that rear-facing camera. We really want a faster processor and just slightly better graphics, and being able to do a lot more. And 32 and 64 gigabit models, even a 128 gigabit model. Can you imagine if iPad made a 128 gigabit model right now instead of waiting like 2-3 years? Would you buy the 64 gigabit model, the 32 gigabit model, the 16, or the 128 gigabit model? That would be kind of cool. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So, AppleInsider.com, if you want to check that out. Now, this is interesting, and this is actually the question of the week. Question of the week is, will you be using Amazon for your streaming, or will you be using Netflix for your streaming? Now, a lot of people have Netflix. I have Netflix. And $8 a month, I can get these great movies, and now they're doing TV shows. Just read a story where we can now get older TV shows on Netflix, so we're getting more and more content every single day. The biggest problem, of course, is the first run movies. Once they hit DVDs, you still have to wait 30 to 90 days for Netflix. Amazon seems to have them already. So I can watch a lot of movies. We watched the Middlemen movie, which was the movie about the two guys that built the billing system for the pornographic. It was basically for the pornographic industry, but it could be applied in so many ways. So Luke Wilson came in and turned them into middlemen, which basically they set up this program, and then everybody bought the program. They switched to the domain. Of course, it was a bunch of porn sites, and they made money off of it. So pretty interesting movie. We watched it on Saturday, I think it was, 24 hours for $4.99 through Amazon, where Netflix doesn't have that option. I have to wait till either they get it after the 90-day period, or something like Stars picks it up on their show, or on their channel there. So, but Amazon, they have the interesting. I think it was called the Plus version. So basically, you become a member of Amazon Plus, I think it is called, and you get all these options, like for instance, two-day shipping, and you can get 48-hour rentals and stuff like that for almost. Some of them are free. And instant videos. I went up there and I checked it out on Roku. They said it was like $79 annual fee. Well, now that kind of set me back a little bit. It's like it's cheaper than Netflix, because Netflix, I think it's $8 or $9 for streaming only, and then $10. I think I get my monthly bill is like $10. I got the one DVD option, so $10 and I get a DVD back and forth. So for $80 annual fee, which is going to be less than Netflix's streaming option, you can get in there. And, of course, Amazon's a Fortune 500 company. So they can throw, not to say that they're rich or anything like that, or they just can throw money that way, but they can throw money at it and really, really saturate the market. So So then I still ask the question: do you stay on Netflix or do you move to Amazon or do you do both? I don't know. Let me know. 608-205-4378 or geekazine@gmail.com. Microsoft is planning the push to Windows 7 Service Pack 1. Of course, we talked about that a couple weeks ago. It's set for February 22nd. If you're not 100% sure, if you are one of those people that really don't need to kind of hold off a little bit, do so. You might want to wait a couple days and let other people test it out, make sure that it's perfect before you go downloading it. Like I said, there's critical stuff, but if you've been doing your updates, then updating the Service Pack 1, waiting a couple days is acceptable. So anyway, Service Pack 1, of course, Server 2008 also comes out with a Service Pack. It's about 750 megabytes for the 32-bit version of Windows 7, and that's the other thing. Make sure you got the 32-bit version. If you have the 32-bit version of Windows 7, download that. If you have the 64-bit version of Windows 7, download that. Just over 1 gigabyte for the 64-bit edition. So you can check that out. Of course, if you go into your updates, you'll probably see that update option on there. So check that all out. If you need more information, go over to computerworld.com, which is where we got this article. All right, you might have heard about this Android 3.0 arriving with Flash, but it's not quite there yet. The Flash Player 10.2, compatible with upcoming Android tablets. Adobe is aiming to have the 10.2 ready within a few weeks after Android 3.0 devices start to reach consumers. So when you get your Honeycomb Android 3, which is their code name, you will not have initial Flash support, but if you wait patiently for a couple weeks, then Adobe will come out with the Flash player. Interesting stuff there. I'm interested to see how they're going to really tackle the main problems of Flash on a mobile device, mostly battery sucking up battery life, and go from there. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we'll have a very good experience on our Flash players for our Android tablets, and Android tablets will be the bomb. They'll be the bomb. I don't know. Anyway, Ars Technica for that information. All right. Haven't shown you too many articles here because there's really no pictures. Whatever happened to putting flashy pictures on website news articles? Maybe they're thinking since it's such expirable content that, why spend the time sprucing it up when all it's going to do is in a couple weeks somebody's there and gone. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on here. Just wanted to check something out. Connect SDK is planning to come out here. Now, this is actually very, very exciting, and but also a little bit disappointing because of the fact that the day that Connect came out, the hackers were already all over this. So the SDK coming out in a couple months doesn't make as much sense as Microsoft just putting out the SDK right now. Now, you're going, well, why a software development kit for Connect? Well, the big thing is they're finding a lot of stuff that people are doing with a Connect that they never even expected. And like, for instance, a couple weeks ago we talked about it. They took two Connects, they put one out and they called that the X-axis, and then they put one, they called it the Y-axis. And if you're in that zone, all of a sudden you're doing more things than you would if you just had the Connect right in front of you. So you could actually use this to do a lot of virtualization, move things around, put tab A into slot B, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of people out there already developing for the Connect and doing some really cool stuff with it. The SDK is welcome, and I can't wait for that to happen, but needs to be out now. I think it does. So, we'll all wait for it, but by the time it comes out, will it really be needed? Because we already know how to get through it. And of course, we all know the Connect for PC is coming out very, very soon. So very, very exciting. The day that Microsoft comes out with Connect for PS3 or Connect for Wii, I think will be really, really exciting. And I know it won't happen. Maybe it will. possibility is always there. Probability is the question. But what would happen if all of a sudden Microsoft, if you got a Kinect for your Wii or Kinect for your PS3, gaming would revolutionize and change like that overnight. It already has, but even more so this way, I think so. What do you think on it? Do you think would you think that it would be a welcome addition for your PS3 or your Nintendo Wii, a Kinect to hook up there? Let me know, 608-205-4378 or geekazine@gmail.com. Even if you do have, maybe there is a hack out there that lets you put Kinect onto your Wii or PS3. Let me know. All right, Google's got hit with an antitrust case. Of course, we've always joked about it. Google's kind of getting big for their britches type thing. And, of course, a lot of companies are starting to agree. There's a French company called OnePlus They create search engines, specialized search engines, for law and music, and they filed an antitrust complaint with the European Commission. It's all about competing search engines using Google search technology. If they want to display Google advertisements on the sites, which then closes off the competition. That's what they don't like. So OnePlus is is one of a few different sites that's putting antitrust issues in there. They have the French legal website ejustice.fr, and I think do they have a couple other companies? But anyway, they basically said that at one point they were getting more than 1.5 million page views per month, and they lost it when Google delisted ejustice.fr from the search results. So, yeah, if that happened, Google, yeah, no, don't do that. Don't do that. So, pretty interesting stuff. Check this out. It's over at sfgate.com. All right, I don't know if you heard about this, but Twitter had this ban on these two companies that made Twitter applications use the API. And so what happened was Twitter said, no, you can't do it. You can't do it. So they banned the apps. So the two companies got together. It was like Twidroid and BlackBerry and iPhone users. So basically they created what was called Uber Media. And with Uber Media applications, now that they're legal, whatever, they're now able to they're now able to use Twitter, and so Twitter has given them the approval. So this is actually really bold of Twitter, because at the beginning it's just like, hey, here's the API, use it in any way you want, Oh, wait a minute, no, you're not doing it right. We better change that. So now all these companies that put together all these business models surrounding Twitter all of a sudden have to reread the language to make sure that they're compliant with Twitter. Because if they're not compliant with Twitter, then they get shut down, and then they go into headaches like they did. Fortunately, they found a solution to this, but it's amazing. Your business could be gone in a second just because you're not following Twitter's rules anymore, because they changed the rules. So anyway, Uber Social and Twitdroid, which were suspended on Friday for violations, are now back up as Uber Media. So go ahead and download that for your BlackBerry, for your iPhone, and go from there. If you want to read more, it's over on cnet.com. Of course, we have that link in the show notes. Samsung is claiming $2 million 2 million 3D TVs have been sold so far. Whether you've bought them because you knew that it was a 3D TV or didn't really care at all, that's a different story. However, they believe that this is the launch of the 3D movement. Propaganda. Anyway, and of course, they try and push out all the different types of TVs. Samsung's LED and plasma TVs featuring Smart Hub, offering the gateway to music, games, and movies and TVs, and so on and so forth. They have all of the Samsung items are DLNA connected, which is if you want to find out more about DLNA, it's one of the videos that we did at CES. You can check that out. It's just basically a way to connect your TV to your PC to your media server to your this, that, and the other thing. Everything mobile so it connects as one. So interesting stuff. We got that over at broadbandtvnews.com. You can check that out. Finally, maybe we do have a picture for you. Here we go. We're talking about tablets left and right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, which tablet is actually going to be the king? Which tablet will be a tablet that you just go, no, this tablet's nothing? There's going to be winners. There's going to be losers because everybody's coming out with a tablet. Device.com grabbed this. Grabbed this image. It's they compare the BlackBerry Playbook with the Dell Streak, with the Apple iPad, with the Motorola Zoom. They find out which carriers that work on these devices, how fast they go, how reliable they are, how cool they are, so on and so forth, blah, 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 blah. There's a whole picture here on everything. Viewing screens to being able to get up to 64 gigabytes to if you drop them off the top of the Empire State Building, will they survive, to anything like that. And this is a full picture, and this is found over on device.com. Check that picture out. Pretty cool stuff right there. But right now, that does bring us to the end of part one. I hope you really enjoyed the end of part one, or the whole show to the end of part one. Maybe watch a little bit more to part two without me babbling on, because that's what I'm doing right now. If you don't want to hear me babble on, you can just give me a call on my voicemail, 608-205-4378, and you can babble on for a couple minutes there. Of course, you can send me an email over at geekazine@gmail.com. We're going to get you into part two in a couple seconds here. First of all, we're going to show you a CES video. This is for the X-Rocker, which was a cool little thing for you in the man cave, I guess we called it. And anybody that has kids, this is perfect. This is the new type of beanbag chair. So check this out. It's called the X-Rocker. And, of course, we will be right back on the Geekazine Weekly Podcast. Get to the point. Rooms start at $40. You can go over to tpn.tv for the Luxor advertisement, which is the gateway to savings.
Hi, this is Tom Newman from the Fogview Podcast and also the Tech Podcast Network. And today we're covering CES 2011, and I have actually found a very nice place to sit here. I have Mike from X-Rocker. And kind of describe what we're in here.
We're in our gaming set. And what it is it's a three-piece set with the love seat, a chair, and an ottoman. Each component or each piece has at least 15 pockets in them. Total set has almost 100 pockets for all your accessory pieces, all your DVDs, all of your Xbox or PS, all your gaming apparatus. And what it does, some things you can hide that have zippers, some are open view, some Velcro off. This is sort of I call it a man cave must. Has drink holders, okay? It is a complete set that can be used and abused, okay? And when it's done, it can be replaced. Has a long longevity, has a long lifespan. It's made of polystyrene bead with a nice tough fabric on it, okay? And the whole set would probably retail close to $200.
Well, this is great. You got to check this thing out. Look at all the different pockets on this thing. CDs. Now, I'm not sure who actually uses CDs. I'm getting some noise here. But it is amazing. Just all these pockets. Got all your controllers here. Got your games you can put there. Just pockets galore. I think you'd probably need a map just trying to find out where everything is. The thing is lightweight. Had an ottoman here.
Has the ottoman here with the zippers. Have all the component pieces that you can Velcro off. Very comfortable. This can also be sat on too. So Very comfortable. Polystyrene beads. Very durable. Very tough. Man cave must. You can do a set, or you can do chair and ottoman together. The chair and ottoman have the features too, same features, made of mesh, made of nylon, we could do different type fabrics too. UPSable item, okay, so we could ship direct to customer too.
Great. So you're saying this whole thing, the whole set here is about $300?
Roughly about $200.
$200. So that's
if you had to guess a retail on it, it would be near that. So.
Okay. Does it come in other colors besides red?
We can do some different colors. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so where would they find more information about this?
You can go to www.acebayou.com or thexrocker.com.
Okay,
we will have information on this, and we'll probably be launching the item probably in late spring.
Okay, so it's not available now, but in late spring?
And it will be available in late spring, shipping from Tennessee.
This is very lightweight. I mean, it's just great for trying to reorganize a man cave. You can see it's very, very lightweight. You can just, very comfortable. In fact, I'm not sure I'm even going to leave here. Anyway, we're with X-Rocker, and this is Tom Newman for the Tech Podcast Network.
All right, welcome back to the Geekazine Weekly Podcast. Of course, if you watched the video version, you saw the X-Rocker, which is one of the many CES videos we had there. Tom Newman was sitting. It's a beanbag chair that's developed more like a couch, like a chair, like an ottoman, lightweight and comfortable. I sat into myself. I was really, really impressed. Plus a whole bunch of pockets that you could use. It's not out yet. It's expected for late spring. And it's going to have a pretty good price range on that. So you'll be able to get this for the kids, get this for the basement, get this for the garage, wherever you need to get it for, and go from there. So that was pretty cool stuff. All right, 608-205-4378 is the phone number. Geekazine@gmail.com is the email address. Thanks, everybody, for coming to the show. My name is Jeffrey Powers. Of course, we do this every single week, every single Wednesday consumption. So let's get back into the news and get you on your merry way, because Mary needs you to come on your way. What? I have no idea what I just... What? We're going to start over at TechCrunch. If you use Chrome, and I use Chrome, I'm not a big fan of Chrome, but out of the four browsers, I like Chrome. Chrome has worked the best. Firefox was my main browser up until a couple of years ago when it had some major problems with it. But I decided to switch over to Chrome. Well, Chrome has this one thing. They call it the Omnibox. And if you have Firefox, you know that there's a box that puts in your address, and then there's another box where you do the search. But Chrome, the one thing that Chrome did was they put in this Omnibox, so you type in anything into the box, and if it doesn't find it as a website, it then turns around and does a search for it. So really, really nice to have. There's been times where I got a little stumbled over it, and I was trying to do something, and it would not let me do it. It would end up taking me to a website anyway. Like, for instance, if I, let's say I did a search on TechCrunch, and I was trying to find a specific article. So I type in TechCrunch space, and then the article or something like CES or something like that. It would then go to TechCrunch.com and then do the search through TechCrunch.com, which made the search a little bit skewed, which I didn't care too much for. The other thing I don't like about Chrome is it will automatically update the browser without your knowledge, and you've got to actually go in and turn it off for it to not happen, and I'm not a big fan of that. Of course, being from the IT shops, being an IT administrator, I know that you don't always want to have the latest and greatest. That's why I always say wait a couple days on a lot of the updates to make sure everybody else is updating. It has the update going, and everything's good from there. So with Google Chrome, it's nice, but yet again, there are things that I don't really care for in it. Of course, every browser I could tell you the things I like about it and things I don't like about it, and there's never going to be one browser that's going to be like picture perfect, like oh, and I'd be like ooh, it's just not going to happen. So. You can read more about the Omnibox. Pretty cool stuff. They have a whole bunch of options with the Omnibox, and they got the API, which you can program for the Omnibox, which is another great little option. But check that out over at TechCrunch.com. All right, let's talk a little bit about Apple. And, of course, we've talked about Apple before. We'll talk about Apple again. This is over at CNN.com. Apple has decided that it's time to increase the quality of your sound, and which I do applaud them for, even though they've knocked out a lot of stuff for us podcasters. Like for instance, the pingback version. If you don't know what that is, basically, quick side note here. What happens when I'm done with the show? I upload the show, I put all the show notes in, and then I publish it. I have a program. I got a little pingback program, which then lets iTunes know that, hey, I got a new version. It then comes down, pulls the version, puts it up in iTunes for you to consume. Now, Apple has changed the way that happens. So I still ping it. I still have the ping URL into WordPress, but it will not accept the ping. It knows I'm there, and it will come find me. So, and from what I understand, it knows when I do my podcast, and then it'll go ping at that time. So, like for instance, the Day in Tech History, it's a daily thing. So hopefully they're pinging. I'm doing the episodes at like 9:30 at night Central Time, the 10:30 in Eastern Time. So by midnight, I expect Apple to have in iTunes the next day's Day in Tech History. I'm really hoping that's happening. I'm going to need to check that out, make sure that that's correct, because if that's not, then I'm going to have to do that. So on that aspect, excuse me, Apple is taking away something that I really, really used myself. However, which I understand why Apple did it. It probably, could you imagine if 5 million people tried to call you up at the same time? That's basically what it is. So I'm guessing that Apple's trying to curb the amount of queries coming to you, especially those programs that just query. They just ping all the time. Hey, are you there? Hey, are you there? 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 Yeah, that's how that works. So anyway, so Apple, bad things from Apple, but here's some good stuff in Apple, and that's where we're going to get on this little thing right here. Apple has decided that they want to go to what's called 24-bit music. Now, when you get an iTunes song, you get it normally in 16-bit. 24-bit is more of a high-fidelity audio format, masters type format. It basically, to get 24-bit, you really got to switch over to 256 bits per second music. And the nation works on 128 kilobits per second. And now you got to switch over to 256. So now all those MP3s that you bought 5 years ago on 128 bits, they're good. They're good, but it's not 256. So we're fine-tuning our ear in this area, and Apple is starting the option to fine-tune the ear. And I think it's a great idea. I really do, because we need to get to that next level, to hear things a little bit better. We've got these great sound systems that help us hear things. When we were at CES, we interviewed this company that actually made what was called 8-ohm speakers, headphone speakers. Now, they bring out more clarity. They take less power. They power drain from your device, so that it's a greener technology. And who wouldn't want better sounding earphones that took up less power? But in all reality, why would you want to hear through some really great speakers some really compressed music, 128 kilobit music? No, you got to go for the next level. So Apple's taking it to the next level, which means you're buying your songs all over again, but you're getting higher quality songs, and you're probably only going to get them for, what is it, 99 cents or $1.29, whatever the price is. I'm assuming that they're going to start the 24-bit songs at a higher price, like $1.99, and then turn around and lower it within a couple of years, usually what happens. So pretty cool stuff. They've got different ways for musicians to really benefit from this. So I can't wait for the day where I can take and create an album, which is technically what I'm doing right now, and put it up on iTunes. Just like that. Just like I do a podcast. And say, here's my album, buy it, $9.99. Apple takes 30%. Because they're going to take 30%, no matter what. We can argue about that whole thing about the subscription prices, 30%, how that's outrageous, blah, 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 blah. Apple's still taking 30%. Sorry. But it would be kind of cool if I could just take my album, put it up there like on CD Baby or something like that, and $9.99, they take 30%. Everything's all happy and well. So, and do it in 24-bit, high fidelity. That would be cool. So, anyway, you can check out more on this over on CNN.com. I went a little bit long on that, but it's a passion of mine. The music is the passion of mine. So, I'm very, very excited about seeing that happen. I'm not a big fan of iTunes. Of course, a lot of people aren't, but I don't get most of my music through iTunes anymore. So, anyway, last part of part 2, then we'll get you on your merry way. I think this was the last part. It feels so wrong for the last part here, but we're going to talk about Facebook and what they're calling Facebook stalking now. They basically have a new part to Facebook. Now, last week we all found out that you could actually change your status to more than just married, single, so on and so forth. You could say you're in a relationship. You can say you're in a civil union. I think that was the big one. That was all over the news. So now they want to do what's called the breakup notifier. It's an application that helps you find out when your crush has broken up with somebody. So I can say, maybe even an ex-girlfriend or something like that. So you can say, okay, she's a friend of mine. I want to know when she's broken up with this guy. And then she says, I've broken up with this guy. And you go, oh, I got a chance. Yay, me. Doesn't really happen that way, but you'll be the first person to know when they're out of it. And it's really kind of making Facebook a little creepy, more of a stalkerish app. I know that you can't have the sex offenders in social media apps, but, come on. Don't make it easy for them. Every year, the State Department, the Justice Department pulls out many, many, many sex offenders because they went on Facebook, because they went on MySpace, and all the other social networks. And now you're saying, oh, hey, sex offenders, sorry, but, hey, we got this really cool app. That'd be cool, right? Yeah, hey. I wish we could actually do stuff like this without it having such a negative effect. I really do. Because this would be a great thing in some aspects. Because then we wouldn't need to have a TMZ or anything like that, and we could actually have daytime programming be more than some sort of person's court or entertainment tonight. Because we just go to Facebook for our entertainment tonight. Don't need to do it. TMZ, don't need that. I got Facebook. That tells me when these celebrities break up. That tells me when they're available and I can stalk them again. I don't know. What do you think? Do you still use Facebook? Is this something that would turn you off from Facebook? Is this something that would just make you say, I'm kind of done with Facebook? So let me know, 608-205-4378 or geekazine@gmail.com. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, that is it for the Geekazine Weekly Podcast. We're done for this week. That means next week we're going to have a lot more articles. Of course, if you want to submit any articles, feel free to do so. Go over to geekazine@gmail.com and say, hey, you should check out this article. And I will. And will. And everything will be good. That's what I'm saying. So anyway, geekazine@gmail.com, 608-205-4378 is the phone number. So feel free to call that at any time, day or night. It's open 24 hours. And thanks to everybody for their watching the show. Thanks for everybody that's listening to the show over on the audio podcast. Really do appreciate it. For the Geekazine Weekly Podcast, this is Jeffrey Powers. I'm going to end on this cool little video. And until next time, take care. Yeah, I know it's all red. I'm wearing a red shirt. So we'll do there's a little brown in there. So anyway, thanks a lot. Take care.